All right, so I have been pretty down on the blue hero cards that have been spoiled so far for Jump to Lightspeed. That all changed today when we got a spoiler from a German content creator on Admiral Yularen Fleet Coordinator. Now, I've taken the liberty of translating this into English for you guys. So we have Admiral Yularen Fleet Coordinator. He has Republic and official traits, and when played, you choose Grit, Restore 1, Sentinel, or Shielded. While this unit is in play, each friendly vehicle unit gains the chosen keyword. Now, as you can tell, this is a really powerful ability. Being able to give all your vehicles Grit and Shielded in particular, I think is really strong. Sentinel can sometimes be something that would be important as well. And even giving all your units, all your vehicles Restore 1 could make Admiral Yularen into like a sort of a mini home 1. But Shielded and Grit are probably the things that stand out to me the most. And I'm going to talk about where I think those will be most useful with some units that we have that are solid units that become really great units once you give them one of these keywords. So earlier, one of the other blue hero Jump to Lightspeed cards was the Ghost. And this one initially was pretty uninspiring for me. It seemed like it would have a place in Hera builds, which are, I don't think, going to be any more competitive now than they were. So this is a 5/6 for 5 in space, which is not a bad body, but it doesn't really do anything when it enters. It just says each other friendly Spectre unit gains this unit's keywords, and while this unit is upgraded, it gains Sentinel. Now, right away when people saw this card spoiled, they were asking if there's any way to give this thing shielded, and I think up until today there wasn't a way to give this thing shielded. So now with Admiral Yularen, you can give the Ghost the shielded keyword, which means that it will enter play and be able to give itself a shield, which will turn on its Sentinel keyword, and in turn give all your other Spectre units shielded and Sentinel. So So now, instead of Admiral Yularen just giving these keywords to your vehicles, you can also pass them around to all your other Spectre units like Kanan Jarrus and Sabine Wren. Now, Sabine having Sentinel isn't really great, but her having a shield is. Kanan with shielded and Sentinel, I think both could be pretty useful. A 4/5 for 4 that heals. With a shield and as a Sentinel is a really great for that cost. And I will definitely be at least experimenting with this. I don't know if that makes the Ghost good. I think it was mostly unplayable before, but I think that this is definitely makes it good enough for me to experiment with. And I think it's just a really cool ability that'll be fun to play around with. Then we have other cards that are already playable that have the potential to be really good with Admiral Yularen giving them a keyword. We have Conquered Dawn Interceptors, the 1/4 for 3 classic Ray Tarkenton card. Already has Sentinel, but if we give this thing Shielded or Grit, I think that could turn it into a real powerhouse. Shielded in particular, like the one problem with Conquer Dawn Interceptors right now is that it just trades 1-for-1 with the P-38. But if you're able to give this thing a shield, then the P-38, one, it can't top it down, but it also doesn't trade as easily with the Conquer Dawn with its death trigger. The Arc 170 also. Giving that a shield makes this card go from already good to great. Then we have stuff like the Red Squadron X-Wing. This card I think was probably playable already. It's definitely something I was going to try. Maybe doesn't have a home in Ray Tarkenton, but in some other blue hero decks. A 3/4 for 3 that when played you deal 2 damage. You can deal 2 damage to this unit if you do draw a card. That was okay. A 3/2 for 3 that draws a card is not really the greatest. If you're going to be sort of trading down with your opponent's 2-drops. But if you can also give this thing a shield so that it becomes a you do the damage to it and then give it the shield after you do the damage, so it becomes a 3/2 draw card with a shield. That brings it more into line with what you'd expect, for what you're paying for it. You could also, depending on what deck your opponent's playing, it might be more valuable to give it a shield and then do the damage to it, so that you just have the 3/4 body. But it's nice to be able to have that flexibility, and I think giving it that flexibility will turn this thing from playable to really good. You could also, if you're giving your vehicles grit, this thing would enter, do damage to itself, and be a 5/2, which could be really good in a more aggressive red blue hero builds, like maybe with the new Luke leader, you might want to do something like that. Black 1, I think, becomes amazing. It already was an amazing card, and being able to give it a shield when it enters makes it phenomenal, because it will be a 2-cost for a 4/4 in space if it has a shield, because it gets +1. Or actually, no, not a 4/0. It turns into a 3/3 with a shield, and then but it's still pretty powerful. A 3/3 for 2 with a shield is it would make it instantly like one of the best cheap space units in the game. I was confusing it with Ray with Ray being able to give it a 1/1 to make it into a 4/4, but yeah, giving a shield for a 2-cost 3/3 shielded is really great. The Green Squadron A-Wing with a shield goes from one of already a red hero staple space unit, that makes it even better. Then you have Blue Leader, which is a 3/3 for 3 with ambush, or you can pay 2 extra to basically pay 5 for a 5/5 with ambush. Giving this thing a shield is completely nuts. Grit also really good if you're going for the 5-cost mode on it, to be able to turn it into a 5/5 ambush with grit. This thing, the following turn, if it doesn't get immediately answered, is going to be swinging for 7, 8, 9 damage. It's really, really powerful. So as you can see, these are just like a handful. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time like going through looking at cards, but like I just looked at like, okay, what ships are already good? What do we already want to be playing? And how much better can we make these things by giving them one of these keywords? And it didn't really take very much digging to see like how great we could make Admiral Yularen in any of these color combinations. So I'm really interested in seeing what you guys find that we can really crack with Admiral Yularen. Leave a comment below telling me what you can't wait to try out with this card. But I'm really excited about it, and this is finally the blue hero card that I was waiting for in this set. So anyway, I'll if you haven't subscribed already, give me a subscribe, hit a like on this video, and definitely leave a comment on what vehicle you want to use with Yularen. All right, later guys.